decision making is a big part of writing of all kind of apps, be it games or artificial intelligence, robotics, data science, machine learning, or whatever. Okay, so whatever, but there are also cases where you need to count and perform some task over and over. So it is like a repeated task. So for example, we was printing multiple times, right? So similarly, if you wanna carry out a single task repeatedly, we go for a method known as loop. So first we'll be seeing Python loops. Okay, under Python loops we'll be seeing something known as a for loop. Okay, so it allows you to repeat a line or several line of code as many times you like. Okay, so looping will be done through a function known as range. So again, this is an inbuilt function. So we'll be using this function and we'll be passing an argument with a number. Okay, so basically it has to be decimal number. We can't have floating point units in it, so Python will just give errors for it. Okay, so with respect to loops, this is the syntax. So here for example, here we'll have the keyword for x. X can be replaced with any other variable by choosing it. You can define it as I or whatever you read, and in is the keyword which we are already seen, and then comes our function which is a range. So range of y, again what and all will be the arguments or parameters within the range, or basically here we are using y, right? So we can use a kind of a different range also. We'll be seeing that when we work with extra codes. And finally, when this whatever x value is inside the range, so the loop will repeat with respect to whatever is inside the whatever is the indented code for our for loop. Okay, so here we can, again, as I was telling, y can be replaced by a specific number, or it can be like between a range. So for example, 0 till a value 10. So similar to how we had seen with respect to index. Okay, so string we had checked for index, right? So index, it will be like 0 till 3. So whereas 3 was not included, but only 0 till 2. So 0, 1, 2, only 3 characters were included. So similarly in range also, the ending point won't be included. So but everything between the starting range till the ending point will be till except the ending point, everything will be included. So we'll see with an example which will make more clear. Okay, so with loops also we have few more applications using the same for loop. So it is just not like a ranging or looping through numbers. We can actually loop through a string. Using range in a for loop is optional. Okay, it need not to be used every time. So instead of using a range, you can replace with a string. So the loop will repeat once for every single character present in the string. So again, we'll be seeing an example. Maybe we can print out a name or any kind of string letter by letter, so which will make more sense. So the variable x, okay. If you consider a variable x, it will contain one character from the string, and which will pass through the loop going from left to right. Again, depending on the syntax, how we execute it. And as usual, x will be a variable name like x, I, or whatever you want to use. So this string should be enclosed using quotation marks, so then only it makes a string. Else it will become a variable, and Python will start complaining that it is undefined. So again, we'll be seeing that with examples. And next type of it is looping through list. So a list in Python is basically a group of elements separated by commas and inside square brackets. Okay, so we'll be seeing about list in the further videos, but here just get a basic definition of a list. So in when you are looping through list, we can loop through such a way the list is either directly in the form of loop or through a variable that contains in it. Okay, so again, the data types in a list can vary, so that's the reason. Again, we'll be having a detailed walkthrough of list in a separate video itself. So again, this kind of loop will repeat for each element in the list. Okay, rather than when you are looping with strings, it will be for each character in the string. In list, it will be for each element or each item in the string. So again, we can use a variable like kind of example x to get its value, and this item from the list will be saved in that variable and it will be going from left to right. So basically when I'm telling left to right, it is from starting from 0th index up to the nth index. And there is a special condition, something known as bailing out of loop. So basically you're breaking out of, like you are getting released or something. So you want to loop something and suddenly you wanna stop it. Okay, so this break will apply for condition also. It need not to be just maybe you have a if condition. Okay, so you have nested if conditions. Okay, which we didn't see. Again, we'll be seeing in nested loops. Okay, if we have multiple if conditions or whatever, even if for condition, so everything can be like within a loop there can be an if condition. Again, within an if condition there can be a loop. Okay, if you want to exit somewhere from that particular execution based on certain criteria, so we'll be exiting that with using a keyword known as break. So that is another keyword which we'll be learning. So that is about bailing out of the loop, but you can consider breaking is just not for loops. Usually it is for loops, even it can be done for conditional statements. We'll see examples. Okay, so again we have next type of looping using continue. So break and loop continue are quite similar. So you can also use continue in a loop, which is kind of not that similar, but little opposite to each other when it is like actually breaking or continuing. So in break, what happens is the code jumps past the executing loop or the end of the loop. It will jump after the loop and it will end. It will start executing whatever is after the loop conditions. Okay, whatever is indented, those will be skipped and it will be going. Whereas when we are using a continue statement, it will skip only for that particular iteration and it will jump to the next item. Okay, so when you are using continue, it will take the next item and it will go back in the loop itself. So it will break only for, or it will skip only for that particular item or that particular range or whichever is the number, or even that particular character if you are considering strings. Okay, so again we'll see examples which will make more sense. And finally we have nesting loops. So nesting loops and nesting if conditional statements are also done. So it is perfectly okay to use the next loop, nesting loops, that is like put a loop inside a loop, just to make sure we have to get the indentations correct. So because only then indentations are determined which part of the code is which part of the loop. Okay, so we have to be very careful when we are using indentation, because if we don't indent the second loop, then definitely it's gonna be a part of the first loop and it will completely change the workflow of our program. So that is about the loops, Python loops, and we'll be seeing for loop, and also we'll have while loop, which we'll be seeing later. So in the next video we'll see examples for the loops and also all this looping through strings, list, range, and also bailing out, like break, continue, and nesting loop conditions.